Get ready to unlock your full potential and change the trajectory of your life. This is the Steve Lags Unfiltered Podcast. Hosted by the unstoppable force of inspiration himself, Steve Lags. He's on a mission to transform your mindset and help turn your dreams into reality. So, strap in, hold tight. The Steve Lags Unfiltered Podcast starts now.
Hello, I'm your host, Steve Lagomarsino, and this is another edition of the Steve Lags Unfiltered Podcast. Today, I have a super guest for you. He's an amazing human being that I've had the pleasure to get to know over the past few years, and I wanted to share him with the audience today. He is the founder and the CEO of Omniprint International, and he's also a multi-family residential real estate investor. Victor Pena, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Dude, I love it here. I love the energy. Super happy to be here. Thank you for the invite, man.
Oh, man, my pleasure. Hey, I've had the pleasure to get to know you over the past few years. You have had a lot of success in your life and you continue to push it, personally, professionally, financially. And maybe you could tell me a little bit how you got into becoming an entrepreneur. I know there's an interesting story behind that.
Yeah, man. The main thing I want to share always is like stuff that I have personally done. And I like, I don't like theories. I don't like stuff that's like, regurgitated stuff that people think is great. It's more of like, what's the authentic stuff that I've done that I could share with others to bring some value, right? So that's why, like, dude, when you invited me, I'm like, dude, of course I'll do it, right? So what's the elevator story real quick, man? Came from Mexico at 6-7 years old.
Right.
My folks decided, hey, boom, let's go. Kid number 2 of 6. Mm-hmm. And, no English, no nothing, no life. And all right, that's where it started. And as a lot of Mexicans, we do construction growing up, right? So as soon as you can start pretty much like, doing a gig, you start. So basically, my dad's a civil engineer, so we came here, and he had like residential construction gigs, remodels, that kind of stuff, and pretty much my first shot at being an entrepreneur was that stuff. I was 11,
right, and
I did my first electrical wiring. At 11.
No kidding.
Yep.
And what state were you living in at this time?
Cali.
Okay.
Yep. We came into California. We were like in a 1-bedroom. Pretty much like that was the start, right?
And at this point in your life, what are the lessons that you're learning at this point? So you're getting thrown into here early in life and not having a typical childhood. You're already working. Yeah,
exactly, man. So at the end of the day, like, the first lessons are definitely hard work.
Right.
Hard work and like actually being in a position where your back's against the wall. Mm. So what I mean by that is, there was this, I guess it would be like my first mentor per se, but it wasn't like a typical, like our mentor, Grant and Brandon, right?
Right.
The Salvadorian guy, like Guatemala, Salvador, halfers, right? But anyways, he was the electrician that my dad had, old guy, and he would show me how to do the work. So I would help him. I would be his assistant first, right? And I would after school or summers. Pretty much, there's no summers or any of that. So I'd help him. But one day he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going back to Guatemala. I have a kidney stone." He had no money to treat it here, and like it was like a life and death to him.
Right.
And he's like, "I'm out."
And you're like, there's your opportunity.
And dude, not even that. My dad's like, "Hey, rent's coming." It's like winter's coming kind of shit, right?
Right.
Rent's coming. We got an inspection on Monday. If we don't pass, we can't collect. If we don't collect, we don't pay the rent.
And then
and the electrician's gone.
Victor's got to solve it.
Yep.
Right. So pressure at 11 years old.
Yep. That was my first gig, and it was a remodel. I remember like, all right, I like this thing. I did everything, connected the box, circuit breakers, all that stuff. Inspection came, passed. It's like, all right, boom.
Right.
So backs against the wall, you have to do something. And then over and over again, there's been times where that's the number one thing that can push you through if you have it.
Right.
And that's why I was like, all right. At the end of the day, like, it gives you confidence when you make shit happen.
Right.
And I think the number one thing that somebody can do for their kids is figure out a way to give them confidence so they could win like as early as possible. You know, maybe not that drastic, right?
Hey, your friends do.
Yeah. But and then build on it little by little.
Right. So, you know, you make a great point. We make things so easy for our kids, for our children. So creating those circumstances, if it doesn't naturally occur, it naturally occurred in your situation, but making sure you give the children an opportunity to overcome major obstacles, and so that they can learn to believe that they can overcome major obstacles. So you were forced into that experience and learned early in life that when faced with a major obstacle and your back's against the wall, you can overcome it. And then when doing that, provides you the confidence moving forward that, wow, look how grim it looked, and I was able to overcome it.
Yep.
And what you did was extraordinary at such a young age. So fast forward, then that gets you into engineering, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So then, you know, there's summers where I'm like in the doing roofing, or I'm doing like I'm in the attic with insulation doing a wiring job. It's like 110 degrees in there. I'm like, dude, holy shit, I don't want to do this like for my whole life. And I was in high school at this point. There's no college fund coming, right?
Right.
There's no like, all right, so you got to figure it out. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work with my back. I want to work with my brain. And I ended up going for electronics, and computers. I like that. That's my stuff. Right. I like it.
Yeah.
And it was brand new. This is like 90, 98, 99. I always had like a computer. I always had like stuff that was coming out, or either I built it or whatever. Early on, I always did like presentations and shit, and it was always like, oh damn, you got a printer, you know?
Yeah.
All of that. So that's why I decided, dude, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So the big lessons you learned in your childhood then were, number one was, okay, confidence, and when you're facing obstacles, how to overcome them. And number two, you learned about hey, I want to be able to use my brain. I don't want to use my hands.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've got some ability here. And then you took that and you went in that direction.
Yeah.
But maybe most importantly is work ethic. You know,
yeah.
Everybody's looking for the shortcut. Like, you know, what would you say? You know, people want to find the quick way to success. And they want to find the easy way out. What's the shortcut? What's the 4-hour work week? You know, what are your thoughts about how important work ethic is, you know, in terms of priority, and when you look at accomplishing the things you want to accomplish for your life, can you do it without that?
Dude, man, I'm getting goosebumps. You know why? Because like, if you don't have work ethic, you don't have shit.
Right.
You don't have anything. And it's the number one thing that I've seen real hitters, big people, dude, they work like beasts.
Right.
They don't take all of that stuff lightly, right? Doesn't matter what it is. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like somebody that's an investor, that's big, somebody that's a business owner that's big. Do they work? They work super hard. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, and as for the audience, if you don't work hard, you can't get to your goals. Bottom line.
Right. But you know, but you want to take it easy on the weekends. You want your free time. You know, you want to watch your TV shows. Like, you know, while you're in that journey, you don't have to work so hard. That's, you know, these are the kind of things we're programmed in society.
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
I think it's bogus.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's bogus because if you have big goals, there's no other way around it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Right. Even to be a for example, we own a lot of apartment buildings, but we're not close to where we want to be at, right?
Right.
But even to be a passive investor in real estate, it takes a lot of work.
Right. Why does it take a lot of work?
Because you have to find the deals, you have to build the team,
Right.
you have to inspire them. You have to make sure that toilets are flushing.
Yeah.
Right. You have to make sure that you know, banking partners are happy. We recently, you know, you're in one of our deals. We recently, you know, became like a fund where we have investors and we want them to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that
right?
fund, and that's been working out great for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And this is the thing, and that was a mindset unlock as well for leverage, right? So, for example, ever since I made my first profit, I'm like, dude, I need to be an investor.
Yeah.
How does that look like?
Right.
You know?
There's so much I want to ask about investing because for our audience, because everybody's always trying to, you know, when I'm leading team members, they're always trying to understand this financial game and how to invest and everything. But before I get to that, and I want you to make sure I don't forget to get back to that quickly. You know, when you're with this incredible work ethic, what's that experience like for you? Is that something that you enjoy because you're aligning it with the life that you want to accomplish and design? Like, or is that just painful for you and you can't stand it? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So a lot of times the stuff that you do and you work through right now was programmed in you a long time ago, right? So work ethic is very important. Like, and trust, for me, I have to start working smarter, focus on that, because I know I could work hard, right? But the leverage through people,
Right.
the leverage through doing the right things is where it's at, right? But you could work hard and smart at the same time,
Right.
So it does unlock a lot of stuff from like, all right, you just have to work hard because that's all you see. Like literally taking a week off or even a day off, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of entrepreneurs feel like that. Right. But the difference is accepting it and be like, hey, you know what? I actually like it. If I was not getting paid, I would also be working hard.
Right. Because it's just part of you.
Yeah.
And it's a gift.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I think that, you know, working smart is really important, but you first need to learn how to work hard. Then you get that figured out, and then you work how to optimize it and work smarter, and then optimize it even further. And how do you become a leader where you can amplify through other people?
Yep.
And that's something that we all work on.
Big time. So this is the thing. Right now, I'm in a huge phase of being I guess a huge phase of being a better leader, right? Trying to become a better leader. And it's a crazy amount of like change, discomfort, all of that. I mean, you've gone through in the last few years, like your leadership game is like through the roof. And I'm like following you on that. But what does it take? It takes very hard decisions.
Right.
It takes very hard people decisions that you have to remove people from your life that have been there for a lot of years as a leader because they decided that they don't want to do that. They don't want to do the growth with you. Right. So as building a team, you're going to have that.
So you were very smart, and I really admire you because early you started figuring out the investing deal, especially with real estate here, where a lot of entrepreneurs, they start making this money financially, and now they're buying all the cars, they're buying extra homes, they're leveraged personally with crazy mortgages, they got multiple homes. but they don't have any passive income coming in. And most people look at them like, wow, they're really rich, but they're not wealthy. Really, because you could be making $5 million a year and be poor.
Yep.
Because and let's talk about that a little bit with your strategy, because this is really great for our listeners about the importance of investing in something like multifamily residential properties and how that investment works for you and how you've been able to accumulate wealth and passive income and also appreciate your investments.
Yeah, that's great, man. Thank you for that question. I really have to do better, even in my own content, to start sharing more about the real estate and the investment side. So I'm gonna do that a lot, because every single business owner needs to be invested in real estate right off the bat as soon as they can. They make their first profit. And you have to do that, and you have to start even like however you have to do it. So I'll share with you guys how I did it. Right
before you do,
yeah.
Well, top 2 reasons why an entrepreneur needs to invest the extra profit he makes in his business into multifamily residential real estate immediately.
Yeah, top 2 reasons why you need to invest in real estate is, first, you have crazy tax advantages of depreciation,
right?
And you have value appreciation that is forced by the way you operate a building versus the market. So if you're a better operator, that means you make more money. You don't have, if the market is down, market is up, and multifamily apartments, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
The mortgage and all of that is paid by others.
The renters.
Yes, it's paid by renters, right? And you're actually making cash flow month 1. Immediately. So in business, sometimes we like forego profit for a long time because we're working on something, we're building all of that stuff, right? In multifamily, the first month you get paid. And you make profit.
And that payment comes in, and it's tax deferred, so you're not paying any taxes on the front end at all.
Yep. And 0 taxes.
Right. And
it's crazy.
And your money's working for you.
Yep.
Yeah, so the most entrepreneurs don't get, you want to get your money working harder than you do and get your money to earn more income than what your lifestyle requires. When you accomplish that, then you're truly wealthy.
Exactly.
Because you're not dependent on like the success of the business alone anymore, or your income from that business or the payroll you're taking from that business.
Yep. And so this is what it takes, right? First, you need very good alignment with your partner, right? So I got to shout out like to my wife, because without her alignment, right, without her support and being 100% on it, when it comes to like what we want in real estate, you can't make it happen, right? Because let's say your wife or your partner wants to do, they want to be at Starbucks, they want to be shopping, they want a fancy car. Then what happens is you buy that stuff and you put the money there, and then you put attention there. What we did to start is we bought a house, and before we bought the house, I bought like commercial buildings where my business is, and became my own landlord.
Yep.
I didn't even have a house; I was renting. All right, and we bought the house, and then we rented out the rooms on Airbnb.
Great,
because I'm like, okay, this place, your home is not an investment. People think that you're I'm buying this house. I'm all of a sudden I'm a real estate investor. No, dude, I was at fucking Home Depot, Lowe's. I'm like, dude, I grew up doing construction. I want to do this shit, right?
If it doesn't pay you, it's not an investment, dude, and a home does not pay you.
It doesn't pay you, dude. So I was like, all right, well, we have to make sure that this thing is making money. So we had a suite above the garage. We rented that out, and then we rented out the rooms, and then my wife managed it. And we did that for a couple of years, and we took that money and bought an apartment building with it.
an investment.
Yeah.
Apartment.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's all about delayed gratification.
It is.
The longer you could delay it. But when you're married, being aligned with that strategy is really important, and being able to see that value and what that like, what's the vision really look like, and what are we trying to accomplish? That's just so important. So you've have an awesome marriage, very successful. You guys are happy. You guys are always, I can tell you guys are always doing a lot together, and you guys just really, we admire you. My wife and I admire you guys so much. What's the secret to that?
I just think so. We're fully transparent with each other. That's very, very important on what we want, right? Because we've both been in like bad relationships before. We know what that is,
right?
But then like we call it like this. All right, we want that Naya money. We want that yacht money,
right?
That yacht lifestyle, and what that means is like look at these $50-100 million yacht owners, right? There's no scarcity there. Just to maintain like a yacht like that, it means that you have the throwaway money,
right? You could
because
say
it's not a good investment.
You mean
right?
fuck you money?
Yeah, it's fuck you money.
Yeah.
And we both want that. So then,
is it a game for you guys? Like where like it's a challenge to fulfill your potential? Like what is it that just motivates you, inspires you to do that?
Yeah, it is that challenge,
right?
Because both of us right now, we don't feel free.
Mm-hmm. Having the freedom, financial freedom.
Yep.
And you're not going to get that with income, like earned income.
No,
a job alone is not going to do that. It's all about what you're investing in. So back to like your multifamily residential real estate investing. So first thing to do, an entrepreneur, when you start making profit and you're taking it out of the company, do not spend it, delay gratification, invest it into real estate.
Yeah. So number one thing a business owner can do is become your own landlord as soon as you can.
Yes.
Because you can use what's called like a SBA 7A or 504, which you get low down payment, good interest rates, and it's a SBA owner operated loan for your commercial building. And what does that do? It unlocks you becoming a landlord, and it unlocks you becoming an investor. So now you set up a separate entity. You charge yourself rent, market rent,
right?
Which is also an expense for your business that you could write off,
right?
And then you get what's called a depreciation, which is basically like, all right, this asset, I'm gonna quote unquote let it wear out in express on the first year, and you get a write off like if it was an expense,
right? So what that write off does allows you to write off the income that you're getting from the rental income, which is tax deferred.
Yeah,
and that tax event will not happen until you actually sell that building.
Exactly. You charge yourself rent.
Yes, and it's opposed to paying rent too. So you're paying yourself rent and you're getting tax-free rent. So we do the same thing with in our business. I own the building in a separate LLC and rent it back to the company, and it's all legit. Yep. That's the way to do it.
Dude, it's 100% legal.
Now,
literally, like, don't mess around with bogus tax strategies that are going to get you in trouble.
Right.
Just use real estate. It's legal and it's legit.
Yeah, they're writing the people that are writing these laws are doing it themselves.
100%.
Right. So you just have to learn. Now, once you do that, then you get into then you want to start investing into something like multifamily residential, right?
Yep, 100%. So you could do that first because like you're able to become an investor and have that entity and have the experience. Because this is what I could tell you about like multifamily. It's kind of bogus. It's hard to get into because if you don't own an apartment building right now, you don't have what's called experience to the bank, and they're not going to award you the loan.
Right. So there's a big entry barrier.
Yeah, there's a big entry barrier. Also, agents.
Was that just today, or was that the case when you started to?
It is the case. So what I did was, my first deal was 8 units. I still own it today because I don't sell any apartment buildings. But it was hard to get because they'll give you like a high down payment, and also a higher interest rate, right? But what I ended up doing is it was the bank that had my business account,
right?
And they just happened to lend in Vegas. That's where I do all the real estate. So what I said is, hey, look, you gotta fund this building, or I'm taking my account somewhere else.
So you leverage the existing relationship you had.
Yeah.
That's
otherwise they wouldn't have done it.
Right.
And they charged me a little bit more. I didn't care to pay more. I didn't care to pay more interest or down payment because I'm like, this is going to be long term. Mm-hmm. Also experience. So what I did was every single remodel that I did, I sent them a list. Here it is. Here's what it sold for.
Right.
I didn't say I sold it.
It sold.
Because they also won't give it to you if you don't have experience as an operator.
Right.
So in real estate, the number one thing, if a lot of people have been lucky right now because stuff went up, mm-hmm. And then everybody's a successful real estate investor, right? But right now is when it matters. Interest rates are expensive. You can't push rents up. So how you operate is the number one thing that's going to unlock value in real estate.
Right.
So,
And the fact if you structured your financing correctly as well,
yep.
Because if you didn't and you've got to refinance it right now, you could be in a little bit of trouble. Exactly. And I know that there are some investors that are finding that. So that's why, as a business owner, I believe for me was keeping the main thing. And, I met you and some other individuals that do this. And that's where I just said, hey, how do I partner with you on this? Because I don't have to go through this process in the short run if I don't have the bandwidth to learn all this. I did do the commercial thing and my own landlord.
Yep.
But that's where I partnered with you with Victory Capital and got into your fund, and that's been working out really great. So that's another thing where business owners that are looking for, they can look for people like you that are doing this and pass through the tax depreciation and all the tax benefits, because it's not like a REIT where you don't get the tax benefits.
Yeah, you're actually a true owner of the benefits of the depreciation and all that stuff. So it's like it's massive.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is a mindset unlock for me because we bought all our own real estate just by saving our money and then buying it, right? But there's business owners that are successful out there. They're like, dude, make this money work. Yes. Here it is.
Right.
I'm like, wait, so I could do the other 4 pillars of real estate, running it, finding the deal, qualifying for it, financing it, all that, and I could have other people's money as the down payment. It doesn't have to be my 40%. I'm like, dude, I've been thinking so small.
Right.
I should have like 10,000 units, right? But
let's go.
That's where like we're going right now, dude. There's going to be such opportunity in multifamily in the next few years. The next fund that we're setting up is going to like bigger. We're going bigger.
You got me in on it already.
Yep, let's go, baby.
Hey, so I'm ready.
I'm literally getting text messages like, hey, what's up with the next deal? I'm like, all right, it's almost there. It's almost there.
But I love when I just show up like every month, same day, boom, deposit into the account, and it never fails. But what about people that are some of our listeners that are not business owners? And, maybe they're earlier in their career and they're not making, the type of money where they can go, in on like, $100,000, $1 million deals. What's your advice to them to get started or to because I believe like the most important step is that first step and start getting a taste of it.
Yeah.
Once you start investing and you make that first step and you start seeing the positive results and the gains from it, it becomes really addictive, as I think you can and I can both relate to, because you're like, wow, this is amazing. And then you start realizing, wow, the freedom you get from where that money is just working for you and just coming in every single month. That's really freedom to do what you want to do in life and not to worry so much about how am I going to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Where do they start?
Yeah. So let's say, you're doing sales, you get your commissions. Like the number one thing that I always did early on is like your personal expenses. You got to look at as what's the investment, what's the return, and like don't over spend. No car, no fancy house, none of that stuff, because you could put that money away.
Right.
Dude, my sales reps, they were driving like $150,000 cars. I had my like Infiniti 2005 G35, and I always said jokingly, I'm like, oh, it's a 2023, it's a 2022, but it was like 10 years old.
Right.
But I put that money into apartments, and they're rolling around in Benzes.
Right. So it's delayed gratification.
Yeah.
So
I came broke. I was broke for a lot of years. You just got to be more broke for a little bit longer.
Right. Right. You just delay a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Then, but the irony of that is that you become wealthier in the long run.
Yep.
So if you're a salesperson working a job and maybe you're making $100K a year, it's all right. It's taking money aside. Like, look at what's expenses and what are investments.
Yeah.
Reduce expenses as much as possible. Don't spend unnecessary. This is the way I look at it. When I'm looking at it, am I spending or am I investing?
Exactly.
Which of the two is it?
Yep.
And then I'm storing money for future investments. But where do they put that first investment in real estate? How do they get started?
So the number one thing that I could have done better is partnerships early on.
Like find people like yourself.
Yep.
Right.
Find somebody that's doing it, that's great at it.
Learn from them.
Yep. Learn from them. Get in, and maybe you don't even want to do it. I got to figure out how to get lazier. You know what I mean? I got to figure out how to like unlock the work from the result. Mm-hmm. Being lazier sometimes helps you figure out what you're actually gonna like unlocking more value that's not tied to your time.
Yeah, well, hold on a second here. There's some listeners are going to take this the wrong way. Now, this is coming from a guy who has incredible work ethic and developed that at a young age of 11 years old. Your asset can become a liability.
Yeah.
And what you're expressing right here, right now, is that, hey, my work ethic is so good that could become a liability at times. And because I'm not afraid to shy away from the hard work.
Yep.
But you got to unlock the possibilities of doing it smarter. Yeah. And like you almost got to put yourself intentionally in this lazy state of mind just to get there, which takes a lot of energy and effort for you to do.
Yep.
I know you. And I just want to make sure our audience is not misinterpreting that because fuck being lazy.
Yeah.
There's too many lazy asses in this world and you ain't one of them.
Yeah,
but you
100%. Actually
got to like work hard and put focus and energy into not being such a great worker.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I mean. There's the leverage of getting a bigger result that is not just tied to your own efforts.
Right.
And I took that that asset is a liability right now. So a liability of knowing that you can outwork it is a problem.
Right.
So now I want to outbuild it.
Yes, outcreate it.
It's all a journey, guys. Everything that you do in life is a journey, and it's going to be difficult. Anything that's worth it's going to be difficult.
Right.
But then it's going to be great.
Yeah. Right, when you accomplish it.
Yeah. And when you put yourself in these uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Like, we've become really good friends. I love you as a person. I look up to you in many ways also. But if I wouldn't have met you, if I wouldn't have been in the rooms, if I wouldn't have done the things that are uncomfortable to go and like, all right, meet new people.
Same here.
Then you be comfortable at home doing nothing.
That's right.
So that's why, I'm super grateful to be here with you.
Well, I appreciate you coming here today, brother.
Yeah. Awesome, right?
Yeah, really good. Hey, everybody. That's another episode of Steve Lag's Unfiltered podcast. Victor, how can the audience reach out to you?
Yeah. So Victor Victor_H_Peña on Instagram. You'll see all my links from there. I think I was negotiated this domain, victorpeña.com. So try it.
Yeah, the check's gonna be coming my way.
There you go.
You know, when I met you, I bought that domain right away. All right, buddy. Hey, thanks so much.
Man,
I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for today's Steve Lag's Unfiltered journey. Keep soaring, leading, and conquering with us. Remember, it's not just about listening, it's about learning and taking action. If today ignited your drive, join us next time for more unfiltered wisdom. Subscribe, rate, and leave a review to fuel your success journey. Also, be sure to listen to us on your favorite podcast channel or outlet. Stay tuned, stay unfiltered, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Boom.